In the vast expanse of the Milky Way galaxy, countless alien races lived and thrived. Among them were the Zarnak, a species known throughout the stars as the weakest and smallest of all sentient beings. Their home planet, Zarnuja, orbited a dim red dwarf star on the outer edges of the galaxy. The Zarnak were tiny creatures, barely reaching the height of an average human's knee. Their bodies were frail, with thin limbs and oversized heads housing their highly developed brains. Large, curious eyes peered out from their delicate faces, reflecting an intelligence that far surpassed their physical stature. Despite their small size, the Zarnak had achieved technological marvels that many other races could only dream of. Their cities were architectural wonders, with gleaming spires that reached into the clouds. They had mastered clean energy, solved complex mathematical equations, and created works of art that could move even the coldest of hearts. However, in a galaxy where might often made right, the Zarnak found themselves at the bottom of the cosmic pecking order. Larger, more aggressive species saw them as easy targets. The Kreks, a warrior race of towering reptilians, often raided Zarnusian outposts for their advanced technology. The Volg Imperium, a civilization of silicon-based lifeforms, refused to acknowledge the Zarnak as sentient beings, claiming they were too small to possess true intelligence. Zixal, a young Zarnak scientist, stood in her laboratory, her large eyes filled with sadness as she watched a holographic newsfeed. The report showed yet another Zarnak colony being evacuated due to threats from a neighboring aggressive species. Why can't they see beyond our size? Zixal wondered aloud, her high-pitched voice barely audible over the hum of her equipment. Her colleague, Nevrin, floated over on a personal anti-gravity device. It's always been this way, Zixal. The galaxy fears what it doesn't understand, and it seems they'll never understand us. The Zarnak had tried everything to gain respect in the galactic community. They offered their advanced medical technology to heal the sick of other worlds. They proposed brilliant solutions to solve resource shortages and environmental crises. They even attempted to form alliances with other peaceful races. But time and again, they were turned away. Some races feared the Zarnak's intelligence, seeing it as a threat to their own power. Others simply couldn't take them seriously, laughing at the idea of allying with beings they could easily crush underfoot. In the grand assembly halls of the Galactic Confederation, the Zarnak ambassador, Quilixon, stood on a raised platform to be seen by the towering representatives of other races. His voice was amplified as he pleaded for understanding and cooperation. We may be small in stature, but our contributions to science and culture are immense, Quilixon argued passionately. We seek only peace and the chance to share our knowledge for the betterment of all. Laughter echoed through the hall. A hulking Krex warrior leaned down, his hot breath washing over Quilixon as he sneered. What could we possibly learn from morsels like you? You're barely a snack for our young. The assembly dissolved into mockery and jeers. Quilixon's shoulders slumped in defeat as he left the hall, the dreams of galactic cooperation crumbling around him. Back on Zarnuja, the Planetary Council gathered to discuss their dire situation. Elder Voxuum, her once vibrant scales now faded with age, addressed the worried crowd. My fellow Zarnak, we have tried for centuries to find our place among the stars. We have extended hands of friendship, only to be swatted away like insignificant insects. Her voice trembled with emotion. Perhaps it is time we seek a new path. Murmurs of confusion and fear rippled through the assembled Zarnak. Voxhum continued, her eyes gleaming with a mix of sadness and determination. I propose we leave this part of the galaxy. We shall seek out a new home, far from those who would mock and harm us. The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of high-pitched debates. Some argued for staying and fighting for their rights, while others saw the wisdom in Voxhum's words. As the Zarnak debated their future, unbeknownst to them, their fate was about to be forever changed. For in a distant arm of the galaxy, a young species was emerging from their own world, ready to take their first steps into the cosmic arena. a species that would see the Zarnak not for their size, but for their heart and mind. The age of humanity was dawning, and with it, a new hope for the outcasts of the stars. The decision was made. After centuries of ridicule and isolation, the Zarnak would leave their home and search for a new beginning. The entire planet buzzed with activity as they prepared for their greatest adventure yet. Zixal, now the lead scientist for the Exodus project, worked tirelessly in her lab. Her small fingers danced over holographic displays as she finalized the designs for their space arcs. "We may be leaving our home," she muttered, her large eyes filled with determination, "but we're taking our hopes with us." Nearby, her old friend, Neverin, coordinated the loading of supplies. "Careful with those seed banks," he called out, his high-pitched voice barely audible over the whir of machinery. "There are future forests and farms." The Zarnak fleet was a marvel of engineering. Massive ships, each housing millions of their kind, were constructed in orbit. From a distance, the vessels looked like delicate snowflakes, their crystalline structures gleaming in the light of Zarnuja's sun. As the day of departure drew near, a strange signal caught the attention of the Zarnak's sensitive instruments. It was faint, coming from a distant arm of the galaxy, but it pulsed with a regular rhythm that could only be artificial. Elder Voxuum, her frail body now supported by an exosuit, addressed the planetary council. "This signal," she said, her voice wavering with excitement, "it could be our guiding star, a beacon of hope in the vast darkness." The council agreed. They would follow the mysterious signal, hoping it might lead them to a new home, or perhaps even friendly aliens. On the day of launch, the entire Zarnak race held its breath. Families huddled together in their assigned quarters, watching through view screens as their beautiful blue world grew smaller and smaller. Quilgzen, the former ambassador, now captain of the lead ship, gave the order. "Engage faster than light drives," he commanded, his small frame dwarfed by the captain's chair. With a flash of light, the Zarnak fleet disappeared into the cosmic ocean. Their journey was long and perilous. The ship's AI navigators plotted courses through asteroid fields and around dangerous stellar phenomena. Every few weeks, the fleet would drop out of FTL travel to rest and make repairs. During one such stop, disaster struck. A group of Krex warships, out on a routine patrol, stumbled upon the Zarnak fleet. The lizard-like aliens, seeing easy prey, launched an immediate attack. Evasive maneuvers, Quilgzen shouted as energy beams lanced past their ships. The Zarnak vessels, built for speed and efficiency rather than combat, scattered like startled fish. Zixal raced to the bridge, her mind racing faster than her tiny legs could carry her. "Captain," she squeaked, "I have an idea." In a flurry of technical jargon, she explained a plan to use their advanced energy manipulation technology to create a temporary wormhole. It was risky, untested, but they had no choice. As the Krex closed in, their weapons chipping away at the Zarnak shields, Quilgzen gave the nod. Zixal's fingers flew over the controls. The space in front of the fleet began to twist and warp. With a flash of blinding light, a swirling vortex opened. "All ships, enter the wormhole," Quilgzen ordered. One by one, the snowflake-like vessels plunged into the swirling maw of space-time. The Krex, caught off guard by this impossible feat, could only watch in frustration as their prey escaped. On the other side, the Zarnak emerged into unknown space. Several ships were damaged, their crystalline structures cracked and sparking. But they were alive and still together. As the fleet regrouped and began emergency repairs, Neverin made an exciting discovery. "The signal," he exclaimed, "it's much stronger here. We're close to the source." A mixture of fear and hope spread through the fleet. What would they find at the end of this mysterious signal? A new home, friendly aliens, or more danger? As they cautiously moved forward, following the pulsing beacon, none of the Zarnak could have imagined the incredible destiny that awaited them. For they were on a collision course with a young, vibrant race that would change their fate forever. humanity. The Zarnak fleet limped through space, following the mysterious signal that grew stronger with each passing day. Their ships, once gleaming like perfect snowflakes, now bore the scars of their difficult journey. Captain Quillickson stood on the bridge of the lead ship, his large eyes fixed on the view screen. "Captain," squeaked Neverin from his station, "we're approaching a solar system. The signal is coming from the third planet." As they entered the system, the Zarnak saw a blue and green world, wrapped in swirling white clouds. It was beautiful, reminiscent of their lost home, but strange rings of metal and debris orbited the planet. Suddenly, alarms blared across the fleet. Multiple objects approaching at high speed. Zixal reported, her tiny hands flying over the controls. Quilgsan's hearts raced. "Defensive positions, but do not fire unless." His words were cut short as their communication system crackled to life. A deep, booming voice filled the bridge, making the tiny aliens flinch. "Unidentified vessels, this is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force. State your intentions immediately." The Zarnak crew looked at each other in shock. The voice was speaking in their language. How was this possible? Quillickson gathered his courage and responded, his high-pitched voice a stark contrast to the humans. "Greetings, Captain Chen. We are the Zarnak, peaceful travelers seeking refuge. We mean no harm." There was a long pause. The Zarnak waited anxiously, watching the approaching Earth ships on their screens. Finally, Captain Chen's voice returned. "Your ships appear damaged. Do you require assistance?" Relief washed over the Zarnak. Quilgson replied, "Yes, we would be most grateful for any help you can offer." What followed was a flurry of activity. Earth vessels approached, not with weapons, but with tractor beams and repair crews. The humans, however, were unprepared for what they found. Lieutenant Mike Rodriguez floated into the Zarnak ship, his spacesuit making him look like a giant next to the tiny aliens. Holy she! He caught himself, staring wide-eyed at the Zarnak. "Captain, you're not going to believe this. They're tiny." Despite the initial shock, the humans quickly adapted. They set up translation devices and began assisting with repairs. The Zarnak, for their part, were equally amazed by the human size and strength. Zixal watched in awe as a human engineer effortlessly lifted a piece of equipment that would have taken 10 Zarnak to move. "Fascinating," she muttered, scribbling notes on her datavat. As the immediate crisis passed, delegations from both species met on the human space station orbiting Earth. The Zarnak stood on raised platforms to be at eye level with the seated humans. Dr. Emily Wong, Earth's chief xenobiologist, leaned in close to examine the Zarnak. "Remarkable," she said softly. "Your bioluminescent patches, are they for communication?" Neverin's skin glowed a soft blue in response. "Yes," he replied, pleased by the human's observational skills. "It's an auxiliary form of expression for us." Meanwhile, human engineers pored over the Zarnak's technology with undisguised enthusiasm. "This energy conversion system is incredible," exclaimed Dr. Amit Patel. "It's decades beyond anything we've developed." As the day wore on, both species found themselves growing more comfortable with each other. The humans were impressed by the Zarnak's advanced technology and peaceful nature, while the Zarnak were touched by the humans' curiosity and willingness to help. Quilgson addressed the human leaders, his voice filled with emotion. "For centuries, we were mocked and dismissed by the galaxy because of our size. You are the first species to look beyond our physical appearance and see us for who we truly are. We are deeply grateful." Captain Chen smiled warmly. "On Earth, we have a saying, 'Good things come in small packages.' We're honored to welcome you to our world, and we have much to learn from each other." As news of the alien arrival spread across Earth, humans reacted with a mix of excitement, curiosity, and some fear. But overall, there was a sense of wonder at making first contact. For the Zarnak, after their long and perilous journey, they had found something precious: acceptance. As they looked out at the blue planet that would become their new home, They felt hope for the first time in generations. The era of human-Zarnak cooperation was about to begin, and it would change the galaxy forever. Weeks had passed since the Zarnak's arrival on Earth, and both species were still adjusting to their new reality. In a large, specially designed conference room in New York, human and Zarnak leaders gathered to discuss the future. President Amelia Rodriguez of the United Earth Government addressed the assembly, her voice firm but friendly. My fellow humans and our new Zarnak friends, today we stand at a crossroads of history. The question before us is simple: how can we best work together for our mutual benefit? Quilixin, now serving as the Zarnak ambassador, stood on a raised platform. His tiny form seemed to grow as he spoke with passion. We offer our advanced technology and scientific knowledge. In return, we ask for a home and your protection. The room buzzed with excitement. Dr. Amit Patel, the lead scientist studying Zarnak technology, stepped forward. The Zarnak energy systems alone could solve our climate crisis within a decade. Their medical knowledge could cure diseases we thought incurable. However, not everyone was convinced. General Sarah Chen, her face stern, voiced her concerns. While I respect the Zarnak, we must consider our security. How do we know there aren't hostile aliens following them? Can their technology be adapted for defense? Zixal, who had been quietly observing, suddenly lit up with an idea. Her skin glowed a bright blue as she spoke. What if we combined our technologies? Zarnak precision with human strength and adaptability. The room fell silent, contemplating the possibilities. Then, a young human engineer named Carlos Mendoza jumped up. I've got it. We could use Zarnak miniaturization tech to create super-strong, compact power sources for exosuits. Imagine human strength amplified tenfold. The excitement was palpable. Ideas began flowing from both species. Neverin suggested using human space station designs combined with Zarnak energy fields to create impenetrable shields. A human biologist proposed merging Zarnak regenerative techniques with human genetic engineering to enhance healing. As the discussions continued, it became clear that together, humans and Zarnak could achieve incredible things. President Rodriguez smiled broadly. I think we have our answer. Let us form an alliance, not just for our protection, but for the advancement of both our species. The declaration was met with cheers and the glowing of excited Zarnak. Quilixin, overwhelmed with emotion, spoke softly. For so long, we were dismissed as weak and useless, but you humans saw our worth. Together, we will show the galaxy the power of cooperation. In the months that followed, the alliance flourished. Zarnak scientists worked alongside human researchers in laboratories around the world. Their combined efforts led to breakthroughs in clean energy, medicine, and space travel. The first major project was the construction of a joint human-Zarnak space station. Huge by human standards, it was a marvel of engineering that combined the best of both species' technologies. From Earth, it looked like a shining star, a symbol of their new partnership. But the alliance faced challenges too. Some humans feared the rapid changes and the influence of alien technology. Protests erupted in some cities, with signs reading "Earth for Humans" and "No Alien Influence." The Zarnak, too, had to adapt to human culture and physical differences. Specially designed areas were built in cities to accommodate their size, but misunderstandings and accidents still occurred. Despite these hurdles, the majority on both sides remained committed to the alliance. Children seemed to adapt the quickest, with human kids fascinated by their tiny alien friends, and young Zarnak equally enthralled by human games and stories. As news of the human-Zarnak alliance spread across the galaxy, it caught the attention of other alien races. Some were curious, others concerned. The Kreks, in particular, were furious that their former prey had found powerful protectors. In a dark chamber on a distant world, the Kreks War Council gathered. Their leader, a scared veteran named Kral, snarled at the holographic image of Earth. These humans dare to upset the balance of power. They and their tiny pets must be taught a lesson. Little did Earth and the Zarnak know, but their alliance was about to face its greatest test. As they worked together, building a future of hope and innovation, a storm was brewing in the depths of space. The true challenge of the human-Zarnak partnership was yet to come. The news of the human-Zarnak alliance spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On countless worlds, alien species watched with a mix of curiosity, envy, and growing concern. The balance of power that had existed for millennia was suddenly threatened by this unexpected partnership. In the Grand Hall of the Galactic Confederation, representatives from various species gathered for an emergency meeting. The chamber buzzed with tense conversations in 100 different languages. Grax Thor, the Krex ambassador, stomped to the center of the room. His massive, reptilian form towered over the other delegates. "This human-Zarnak alliance is an abomination," he roared. "The weak should know their place." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. The Volg representative, a shimmering silicon-based life form, floated forward. The humans were barely noticed before. Now, with Zarnak technology, they could become a significant threat. Not everyone agreed. Slob, a gelatinous being from a peaceful race, wobbled nervously. But what if this alliance brings positive change? The humans have shown remarkable adaptability. Grax Thor sneered at Slob. Positive change. Bah. They upset the natural order. Strong dominate, weak serve. That is the way of the galaxy. As the debate raged on, a decision was reached. The majority voted to send a delegation to Earth, officially to assess the situation, but with secret orders to find weaknesses in the alliance. Meanwhile, on Earth, humans and Zarnak were oblivious to the galactic politics unfolding. They were too busy making incredible progress together. In a high-tech lab in Tokyo, Dr. Emily Wong worked side by side with Zixal. They hunched over a microscope, examining a new nanomaterial. "Amazing," Dr. Wong exclaimed. "By combining our carbon nanotubes with your quantum stabilizers, we've created a material stronger than anything in the known galaxy." Zixal's skin glowed with excitement, and it's just the beginning. Imagine the possibilities for space exploration, for healing, for... Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent message. "All senior scientists and officials, report to the Global Command Center immediately." At the command center, a tense atmosphere greeted them. President Rodriguez stood before a large screen, her face grim. "We've just received word. A delegation from the Galactic Confederation is on its way to Earth. They'll be here within a week." Captain Chen, now Admiral, frowned. "This is no courtesy call. Our long-range sensors detected a large fleet holding position just outside our solar system." Quilgsen, the Zarnak ambassador, felt a chill run through his tiny body. "I recognize some of those ship designs. The Krex, the Volb. They're not here for friendly negotiations." The room erupted into worried conversations. Admiral Chen's voice cut through the noise. "We need to prepare for any possibility, including conflict." For the next week, Earth was a flurry of activity. Human Zarnak teams worked around the clock, integrating their technologies into defense systems. The orbital station was reinforced, and a fleet of new hybrid ships was hastily completed. As the alien delegation approached, humanity held its breath. In homes around the world, families huddled around view screens. Zarnak colonies on Earth glowed with nervous energy. The delegation's ship, a massive creature of gleaming metal, took up position above the United Nations headquarters in New York. A shuttle descended, landing in a specially prepared area. President Rodriguez, Admiral Chen, Quilgsen, and other leaders waited as the shuttle doors opened. Out stepped Grax Thor, his reptilian eyes scanning the welcoming party with disdain. "So," he rumbled, "you are the humans who dare to change the order of things." His gaze fell on Quilgsen, and his mouth curved into a cruel smile. "And the little Zarnak who hide behind them." President Rodriguez stepped forward, her voice firm. "We welcome you to Earth, representatives of the Galactic Confederation. We look forward to productive discussions. Graxthor's smile widened, showing rows of sharp teeth. Oh yes, he said, we have much to discuss. The future of this alliance and its place in the galaxy. As the delegation was led inside, tensions were high. Both humans and Zarnak knew that the coming days would determine not just their fate, but potentially the future of the entire galaxy. The stage was set for a clash of ideologies, a test of the strength found in unity against the old powers of the galaxy. The Human-Zarnak alliance faced its greatest challenge yet. The negotiations with the Galactic Confederation delegation had been tense from the start. For 3 days, discussions went back and forth in the United Nations building. Graxthor, the Krex ambassador, made thinly veiled threats, while the Volg representative questioned every aspect of the Human-Zarnak alliance. On the 4th day, everything changed. Alarms blared across every city on Earth. Admiral Chen burst into the negotiation room, her face grim. "Mr. President, Ambassador Quilgzan, we're under attack. A massive fleet just dropped out of faster-than-light travel and is approaching Earth." Graxthor's reptilian face split into a cruel grin. "Ah, it seems the real negotiators have arrived." President Rodriguez's eyes flashed with anger. "This was your plan all along. The talks were just a distraction." "Of course," Graxthor sneered. "Did you really think the galaxy would allow your abomination of an alliance to continue?" Quilgzan, despite his small size, stood tall. "You've made a grave mistake. You don't know what humans and Zarnak can do together." As chaos erupted in the negotiation room, the combined Human-Zarnak Defense Force sprang into action. The orbital station, now a formidable battle platform, powered up its shields. On the ground, pilots rushed to their new hybrid fighters, a blend of human combat experience and Zarnak technology. In the command center, Admiral Chen and Zixel worked side by side, coordinating the defense. "Enemy ships entering weapons range," a human officer reported. "Activate the Zarnak energy deflectors," Chen ordered. As the first wave of alien weapons fire approached Earth, shimmering fields of energy blossomed around key cities and military installations. The battle was fierce. Krex battleships, each the size of a small city, unleashed devastating barrages. Volg cruisers released swarms of automated attack drones, but the Human-Zarnak forces fought back with everything they had. Human pilots, their reflexes enhanced by Zarnak neural interfaces, danced through the chaos in their agile fighters. They targeted weak points in enemy ships that only the Zarnak's advanced sensors could detect. On the ground, things were just as intense. Alien drop pods landed in major cities, disgorging waves of Krex shock troops. They expected easy victories against the soft humans. Instead, they met squads of soldiers in powered armor, their strength amplified tenfold by Zarnak technology. In New York, a young human soldier named Maria Rodriguez, no relation to the president, found herself face to face with a towering Krex warrior. The alien's clawed hand swung down, but Maria caught it with her armored fist. The Krex's eyes widened in shock as the small human lifted him off the ground and tossed him aside like a rag doll. Meanwhile, Zarnak scientists worked frantically in underground bunkers. They had a plan, but needed time. Nevrin's voice crackled over the comm to Admiral Chen. "We need 10 more minutes. Whatever you do, keep their main fleet together." Chen gritted her teeth. "You heard them. All ships, execute Maneuver Omega. Draw them in." The space around Earth became a brilliant light show of explosions and energy weapons. Human Zarnak ships took heavy losses, but they succeeded in clustering the enemy fleet together. "Now," Nevrin shouted. Suddenly, hundreds of small devices attached to human and Zarnak ships activated. In a flash of blinding light, a massive energy field enveloped both fleets. The Krex and Volg ships found themselves unable to maneuver or fire weapons. Zixal's voice came over the comm, filled with pride. It worked. The quantum entanglement field is holding. Their ships are frozen in place. As the dust settled, the extent of the human Zarnok victory became clear. The invading fleet was trapped. Earth was battered but unbroken, and the galaxy watched in stunned silence. In the UN building, Grax Thor's smugness had turned to disbelief. President Rodriguez approached him, her voice steel. "Now then, Ambassador, shall we return to our negotiations? I believe the terms may have changed somewhat." Quilixin stood beside her, his small form radiating dignity. "The galaxy wanted to see our strength," he said. "I believe they had their answer." As news of the victory spread, cheers erupted in cities around the world. Humans and Zarnok celebrated together, their bond stronger than ever. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged triumphant. But this was just the beginning. The galaxy was watching, and the human-Zarnok alliance was ready to show them a new way forward. 5 years had passed since the great battle that shook the galaxy. Earth, once a backwater planet barely noticed by advanced civilizations, had become the center of a new galactic order. The human-Zarnok alliance, forged in friendship and tested in fire, had changed everything. On a warm summer day, the gleaming spires of New Geneva, Earth's first truly interstellar city, sparkled in the sunlight. Human skyscrapers stood side by side with delicate Zarnok crystal structures. In the streets below, humans of all sizes walked alongside their tiny Zarnok friends, a sight that had become wonderfully ordinary. In the Grand Assembly Hall of the newly formed Galactic Cooperation Council, representatives from 100 worlds gathered. The room was a marvel of engineering, able to comfortably accommodate beings of all sizes and atmospheric needs. President Maria Rodriguez, the young soldier who had once faced down a Krex warrior, now stood at the podium. Beside her, Ambassador Quilixin sat on a hovering platform, bringing him to eye level with his human friend. 5 years ago, Maria began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. "We faced a threat that could have destroyed us all. But instead of destruction, we found unity. Today, we welcome new friends and old rivals alike to join us in building a better future for all." Quilixin's skin glowed a soft blue as he spoke next. The Zarnok were once shunned, considered too small and weak to matter. Humans were dismissed as primitive and unimportant. Together, we proved that true strength lies not in size or age, but in cooperation and innovation. Throughout the hall, beings of all shapes and sizes listened intently. Even Grax Thor, the former Krex ambassador now serving as a junior diplomat, nodded grudgingly. As the assembly continued, the changes in the galaxy became clear. The Volg, once coldly logical, had been inspired by human creativity and now led the way in arts and culture. The warlike Krex, humbled by defeat, were learning the value of diplomacy and cooperation. But the greatest changes were on Earth itself. In a research facility near the ancient human city of Alexandria, Dr. Emily Wong worked alongside Zixal, who was no longer just a colleague but a dear friend. "Look at this, Emily." Zixal squeaked excitedly, her tiny form dwarfed by the large holographic display. "By combining Zarnok miniaturization with human bioengineering, we've created nanobots that can repair damaged ecosystems." Emily grinned. "Amazing. We could restore extinct species, reverse pollution. Zixal, we could heal entire planets." Their excitement was mirrored in labs and workshops across Earth and beyond. Human ingenuity paired with Zarnok precision was solving problems once thought impossible. In orbit, the first of the new Explorer-class ships prepared for its maiden voyage. Captain Carlos Mendoza, the engineer who had first proposed combining human and Zarnok tech, stood proudly on the bridge. His first officer, Nevrin, floated nearby in a special suit designed for Zarnok in human environments. "All systems ready, Captain," Nevrin reported, his skin flickering with anticipation. Carlos smiled. "Then let's make history. Engage the quantum drive." In a flash of light that rippled across space-time itself, the ship vanished, heading towards unexplored regions of the galaxy. Back on Earth, in a small park in what was once called Central Park, a human child named Aisha played with her Zarnak friend, Lix-T. They were building a sandcastle together, the human carefully shaping large structures while the Zarnak added intricate details with her tiny hands. An old man sitting nearby watched them with a smile. He remembered a time when humans feared anything different, when the idea of alien friends seemed impossible. Now, watching the children play, he saw the future, a future brighter than anyone could have imagined. As the sun set on another day in this new era, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. The galaxy, once a place of fear and conflict for the Zarnak, had been transformed. In the most unlikely of places, with the most unexpected of allies, they had found not just safety, but a true home. And for humanity, the adventure was just beginning. Together with their small but mighty friends, they were ready to face whatever wonders or challenges the vast universe had in store. The era of human-Zarnak cooperation had only just begun, and the best was yet to come.